CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. It is time to pay off this feud because now we've taken what some are calling a step too far in doing this whole angle again here at Money in the Bank. Like I said, I don't necessarily subscribe to that, but I can definitely see where people are coming from. We have to pay off this feud now. We now need to get to the point where CM Punk is in the ring and these guys can brawl. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. I think we have to start there. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. You see this story right here. Well, let's get to, I guess, how we got to CM Punk even appearing on this pay-per-view, because obviously he wasn't booked. We had the world title match between Seth Rollins going up against Damian Priest. That's the, defending champion. And this match was really, really good. Started like a house on fire. There was no kind of rest holds or anything like that. These guys were just at it. There was a pedigree attempt, I believe, early doors by Seth Rollins. They were really just trying to go for it. A lot of just high impactful moves. Seth Rollins kind of rolling back the years, saw some great moves from Seth Rollins, and Damian Priest done well. He really held himself as well. There was a little botchalini, which I don't really want to spend a lot of time talking about because botches happen and I don't want it to be the focus of what was a very, very good match. But Seth had a pin on Damian Priest. Damian Priest didn't kick out. I believe what they were waiting for was Drew McIntyre's music to hit, which would have, I guess, distracted everybody. But really and truly, like, a referee shouldn't be distracted by someone's music hitting, even if you're counting. So yeah, it was a bit of a funny one anyway. But then the music never hit. Damian Priest never kicked out, and then the ref just said it was a 2, and Rollins was like, what? Like, yeah, I don't know if they're going to bring that up on TV. Yeah, we'll see. It was just an unfortunate bit of what was a very, very good match. So eventually, when the referee did say 2, Drew McIntyre's music hit afterwards. Drew McIntyre came out. He cashed in. None of the stupid referee shenanigans of, oh, what do I do with this briefcase? Blah, blah, blah. Like, they understood the assignment. He gave them the briefcase and cashed in whilst this match was happening. So this match turned to a triple threat match. And when it's a triple threat match, we all know what that means. There is no disqualifications, right? Drew McIntyre comes in. He's cleaning house. He's doing what he needs to do. And then CM Punk rears his head. CM Punk saying, in the what was that last show, Clash at the Castle, that he was going to make Drew McIntyre's life a living hell. And he's living up to it so far. Like, this was another opportunity. I believe the 4th time that CM Punk had scuppered Drew McIntyre's plans of walking out of any building with the World Heavyweight title. And firstly, there's a lot of people that are kind of upset that, this is something that's been happening now. This was like the same of what we've seen, across all of these different events. I think they're being very consistent with it. I think we have to remember CM Punk is probably not quite ready yet. So it's like, what else do we do to kind of keep this story burning? I know this may be repetitive somewhat, but I do feel like they're bringing something new to the dance when it comes to this every single time. I don't feel bored. Like, yes, it's predictable, but again, this is Drew McIntyre's fault. If we're looking in terms of the story, Drew McIntyre is the one that said, what was he on like, oh, I'm going to cash in. I'm going to win the Money in the Bank. I'm going to cash in. He said all of this on Raw. So if you know your op is going to be in a certain place, you're going to go and track him down there. And he won the Money in the Bank, and then he went to cash in, and CM Punk was there. So it makes sense in that aspect. And yes, they are kind of going to the well. Maybe this one was the one too many times, but I feel like they're doing it in different ways. So I give them the benefit of the doubt in terms of how we're kind of, getting these stories together and stuff like that. Was the step needed? Probably not, because when CM Punk costs a man in his hometown of Scotland, in his home country of Scotland, then that's the height of the madness. But then, Drew got him back with the bloody, brutal attack on SmackDown. So it was CM Punk's turn. So it's one of them ones where, it's a bit of back and forth. Um, but yeah, we're just kind of trying to get to the story. And this is one of my main points that I wanted to talk about today. We're gonna get to it in just a second about, paying this off now. The other main conversation that I did see a lot of people talking about was this was a waste of a money in the bank briefcase. Now, I don't subscribe to that at all. If that's your opinion, cool. It's not mine. It's not mine. I don't subscribe to that at all because we have to look at it as in Drew said he was going to do this. Drew was trying to use this money in the bank to get to the world title again, which ultimately he did. He just wasn't successful. Now, we have to remember no matter what happens with Drew and this money in the bank and this, that, and the other, Gunther is the number one contender waiting at SummerSlam. Yeah. Then, if we say in another 4 months' time ish, we're going to have a Royal Rumble who's going to crown the number one contender, if you like, for WrestleMania. And then we'll have another King of the Ring that will crown for SummerSlam. We'll have another Money in the Bank next year. That isn't, you see what I mean? Like, I just feel like at least in the next 12 months, WWE have the world titles covered in one aspect or the other, whether it's the World Heavyweight title and Gunther, that we all probably assume he's going to win it next month, they're ready and waiting, or Cody Rhodes, Bloodline, Randy Orton. You see what I mean? So a lot of this has all been covered, has been booked well in advance. So what is Drew or anyone else really? Let's take Jay Uso for fact, yeah. Jay Uso, if he was to win that briefcase, he'll be walking around with it, but it's like, where do you fit in and where are you going to cash in? I feel like Damian Priest was very hot last year when he won it, but the briefcase almost became a bit of an albatross when he had it last year, because especially towards the back end of last year when Drew McIntyre was heating up, Seth Rollins' entire run with the title was heating up, Cody Rhodes, there was potential he might get slipped into this World Heavyweight title because the WWE Championship was going to become a thing between Roman and Rock. CM Punk, I can't remember, did I say CM Punk already? CM Punk returned. Like, the field for the World Heavyweight title became very busy, and this is why Damian Priest was already fighting from underneath with the briefcase, and even now that he's cashed in and is World Heavyweight Champion, just because we know there's bigger, better names with that title. So it's like, we don't need the title this time around to tell this story. So I personally don't think it's a waste of a cash in. But like I said, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, it is time to pay off this feud, because now we've taken what some are calling a step too far in doing this whole angle again here at Money in the Bank. Like I said, I don't necessarily subscribe to that, but I can definitely see where people are coming from. We have to pay off this feud now. We now need to get to the point where CM Punk is in the ring and these guys can brawl. Drew McIntyre, after Money in the Bank, he was livid. Like that whole segment where he went to the post-show guys at the desk and pushed away referees and elbowed Adam Pearce and had to be pushed away by Wade Barrett of all people. Like, brilliant, amazing. And apparently now he's been indefinitely suspended. So I guess that takes him off TV for a while. But we need to now get to the point. Otherwise, it's like, this is wrestling, and we need you guys to wrestle to pay off this story. Why aren't you wrestling? And CM Punk has kind of come out and said he is on the mend and could go, sort of thing. So I think this is where we need to get to now. The match needs to happen between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. The title is irrelevant, and I feel has been irrelevant for maybe about a month or 2 months ago. But definitely after Clash. When he didn't win it at Clash, it's like, this isn't about the title at all. This is all about CM Punk and Drew McIntyre and this blood feud that they're having. So SummerSlam was obviously the place where we all thought this was going to get paid off, where CM Punk, he would probably be about ready to return at that point. But now I'm just thinking, if he's not ready and we need to push this a bit further, which I say with a wince because I don't know how much longer they can, drag this out, sort of thing. We've got Bad Blood. You know, we've got Bad Blood, which kind of represents a Hell in a Cell type atmosphere just with the name. Um, and yeah, really kind of could blow off the blood feud here at Bad Blood between Punk and Drew McIntyre. But that's not till October. So yeah, I really do think it needs to happen in SummerSlam as opposed to down the line. If we've started it at SummerSlam and there's another one in October, then cool. You know, Punk versus Drew 2 in October, fine. But I really think SummerSlam is now the arena, and correctly the arena. You know, we're gonna have like 40,000 people in attendance, I believe. So that's where this needs to happen. And there's one more wrinkle in this story, and his name is Seth Rollins. Because with Damian Priest retaining here, after all the shenanigans of Punk taking out Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest pins Drew McIntyre again after with a South of Heaven chokeslam. It means that Seth Rollins can no longer go after the World Heavyweight title as long as Damian Priest is the champion. And Seth Rollins went over to CM Punk as CM Punk was perched on the announcer's desk, and he made his feelings, you know, heard to Punk. He weren't happy about it. And this is almost full circle where Punk returned in November at Survivor Series. It was Rollins effing and blinding, angry to see Punk again. McIntyre the same. We're here again. We're here again. And Seth Rollins has kind of now, with just that moment, reignited his feud with CM Punk. It went on the back burner, especially when the Drew stuff started happening, way on the back burner, but it's reignited at this point. And one thing that I did think they could do at SummerSlam, maybe if they do want to kind of stretch things out to this Bad Blood in October, is a triple threat. And I'd love to hear from you guys as to, should this go into a triple threat? I think there's definitely enough stock to do Punk versus McIntyre, but if you're looking at a Punk that's just returning from injury, maybe you have to hope he can stretch his abilities by putting another man in there, so the focus isn't solely on Punk and McIntyre. You know, Rollins and McIntyre can go off and have segments within a match while Punk can take it easy, I guess. Triple threat to anyone? I don't know. Personally, for me, no. But it could be something they do, like I say, in the interim to stretch this to get some more mileage out of Punk. Who knows? But for me, Punk and McIntyre, we've arrived. We've arrived at the destination now, at least for now. You know, the story you've been telling us on TV. So we need to pay this off now. We definitely don't need, and I think we can't anymore. There's no more opportunities for McIntyre, especially being suspended now, to get another chance to get into a world title picture for Punk to screw him again. So now we are at the point where Punk versus McIntyre needs to be paid off.